In the first 4 months of this year, I made over $250,000 by simply sending emails. And I'm just a regular 23-year-old in Canada. I didn't spend years in school. I don't have any special skills. All I learned was how to send simple emails for businesses. So in today's video, I will be sharing with you exactly how I did this. Please pay attention because this might be one of the most valuable videos that you will ever watch, and it might just completely change your life. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with some background context just so that you could better understand how exactly I was able to make $250,000 in the first 4 months of the year. It's very important because it will give you a really good understanding as to exactly how I was able to do that, right? So my first job out of high school, and even throughout university, was a job at McDonald's where I was flipping burgers for $14 an hour. I absolutely hated that job, and I remember every single time I clocked into the shift, I would just look at the time on my watch like every 2-3 minutes and be like, oh, I only have 4 hours left. I only have 6 hours left until my shift is done and I could go home, because I absolutely hated that job. I had zero skills. I had no experiences. I hated my job, and the worst part is I was over $15,000 in credit card debt, right? And credit card debt is extremely high interest debt as well. It's just a very stressful feeling, right? So here's a picture of me when I was flipping burgers at McDonald's. Here is a picture of my credit card app where I was over $15,000 in debt, right? And this was just one of the credit card debts. Then in 2022, I realized that I had to just find another way, because what happened was I started going online on Instagram, on YouTube, and what I saw was all these young dudes, these 20-year-old guys online. They're buying sports cars, buying Lamborghinis, living in penthouses, wearing Rolexes, wearing APs, wearing Pateks, wearing and buying all these fancy things. And I figured that there had to be a better way, right? If there were people out there in the world who was my age, who was doing all these things, right, making money themselves, starting their own businesses, then it was definitely possible, right? And I thought that to myself, that if there were other people doing it, then why can't I do it as well? So then what I did was I actually gave it a shot. And what I started by doing was I picked some of the most common online businesses that you will see online, right? So I tried dropshipping for a few months, and what happened was I actually lost a few $100, because what I would be doing was I'd be buying these different products from AliExpress and from all of these different websites and try to sell them. And I was doing TikTok dropshipping actually. And you can see actually over here, right? This was a picture that I bought. I don't even know what this is anymore. I don't remember. I bought this, which is more of a massage pen. And this is actually what you see, right? So I bought this and I took a picture of this, right? And these products, I bought all of them. I tried them for a few months and I didn't make a single sale. So I actually lost a few $100 trying dropshipping, right? So then what happened after that was I actually tried building my own SMMA and my own email marketing agency. And what happened was I saw a little bit of success. I actually signed 2 clients, but I didn't make any money, right? So I offered my services completely for free, and 2 people took me up on the offer. And what happened was after I signed those 2 clients, I struggled with service delivery. Because what people didn't tell me, what all these other guys online didn't tell me, was the skill set required to sign clients, even if I didn't make money, even if I signed them for free. That was a completely different skill set from what it takes to actually deliver the service that I was selling, right? And here's 2 screenshots of the 2 clients that took me up on my offer. These are the onboarding emails. And this happened in July 2022 and June 2022. So I signed 1 client per month when I was trying this. And I signed 2 clients completely for free, didn't make a single dollar. So then I figured, wait a minute, if I was able to get 2 clients for my own marketing agency, and how I was able to get those 2 clients was I sending cold emails, and I was consistently booking somewhere between 3 and 5 sales calls every single week by cold emailing these e-commerce brands. I figured, what if I started selling cold emails as a service to help other businesses book sales calls, right? So using what I did, because if I was, signing clients and I was generating a few sales calls a week, I felt like I started to know and started to understand how to use cold emails. And if I was able to just really get really good at the skill of cold emailing, then maybe I'd be able to sell it to other businesses, right? And that was kind of just the way I thought back then. And the best part about that was the way I thought about it was I could continue to use cold emails to, number one, get sales calls and sign clients for myself. And then I'd be able to sell that exact same process to deliver results for clients. Meaning I really only had to focus on one thing, which is learning and sending cold emails, right? I didn't have to learn how to send cold emails, learn how to run Facebook ads, learn how to run, design newsletters and graphic design and all these other skills. I only needed to focus on one thing, which is how to send cold emails, meaning my chance of success and actually making money was significantly larger, because if I went all in on one individual skill, then obviously it'd be a lot easier to master one thing than to master 20 plus different things in a very short time period, right? So another really great aspect was I was sending cold emails in an automated way, because I wasn't manually logging into Gmail every single day. I wasn't manually logging into Outlook every single day, typing away and sending these emails out. That wasn't what I was doing. What I was using was sending tools like Instantly.ai and Smartly.ai to actually automate the emails. So all I had to do was there would be a little bit of work up front. I would set everything up and the emails would just automatically send on a day-to-day basis. And the only thing I needed to do was reply back to people, right? So I was sending all of these emails on a day-to-day basis. A portion of people would obviously reply back. They'll ask me some questions. They'll be interested, whatever the case was. And all I needed to do was reply back to these people. And it probably would have taken me somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour of my time every single day, right? So that was kind of my idea, and it worked pretty well. Because what actually happened was, how was I able to do this and actually make this amount of money? And how did this business model just work? So what happened was, in October 2022, I actually decided to start my own lead generation agency. And at the time, I called it Burrow Group. But what exactly is a lead generation agency, right? So as you can see, a lead generation agency is a company that develops and implements strategies to help businesses attract more qualified leads, meaning prospects that are more likely to become customers. So that's the definition on Google. If we were to use ChatGPT, a lead generation agency is a company that helps other businesses find potential customers who are interested in the products and interested in their services. They use various methods like online advertising or telemarketing to identify and collect information, right? You can pause the video and read through that entire definition. But essentially, what I was doing was I was working with these companies, B2B companies specifically, and I was partnering up with them to help them generate more leads, to help them get sales calls, to help them generate meetings in their sales pipeline and sales opportunity. So that's exactly what I was doing, right? I was helping them find new customers and find new clients by generating them qualified sales calls. And the specific method I was doing this was using cold emails. So I wasn't running ads, I wasn't cold calling, I was doing cold emails because, my thought process was I kind of knew how to do it because of my email marketing agency. So might as well continue doing it, right? That was my thought process behind that. So in this diagram, to better explain what this is, what you see are 3 circles right here. So obviously on the left side is marketing agencies. So let's assume this is a marketing agency, just a regular marketing agency that you might come across, and they work with e-commerce brands. And what they do is they sell ads, they sell SEO, they sell email marketing. Those are the services that they provide for these e-commerce brands, which would then become the marketing agency's clients. How do marketing agencies right now, how do they find these clients? How do they find more e-commerce brands to sell ads, SEO, and email marketing services to? Well, the way they're doing it is they're relying on referrals. They're relying on word of mouth, so their friends, their family, that type of thing, and they might be running ads. That's how these marketing agencies are currently finding more e-commerce brands to work with. So what I'd be doing as a lead generation agency, this green circle right here, is I would be approaching these marketing agencies. I just randomly cold email these marketing agencies, basically telling them, hey, we help marketing agencies generate more leads, generate more sales opportunities, sign more clients, and we do it using cold emails. That would be what I'd be saying to marketing agencies. And once the marketing agencies, they're interested and they want to work with me, they want to partner with me, I'd be then helping these marketing agencies reach out to these e-commerce brands using cold email. So essentially the exact same thing. So as a marketing agency, I'd be emailing these e-commerce brands and being like, hey, so we help e-commerce brands do boom, 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 boom. That's exactly what I'd be doing, right? So basically, as a lead generation agency, I'm kind of like the middleman, if you want to think about it like that, connecting my clients, connecting the marketing agencies with their clients, with the e-commerce brands. And that's exactly what I was doing. Now, one of my largest concerns when I was first starting my own lead generation agency was wondering if it was saturated, wondering if there was just a lot of people, it was hyper competitive, all of these different things. Because one of the reasons why I failed at dropshipping or with my marketing agency was because it was super saturated. And it makes sense, right? If you go on YouTube and you just search up best business models in 2024 or best businesses to start, probably the top two businesses that you will come across is either dropshipping or building your own SMMA or building your own marketing agency. Because there were literally thousands of people doing the exact same thing as me, selling the exact same thing, selling to the exact same people. And it's pretty obvious why I wasn't able to see any results and why I wasn't able to make any money. Because I was first starting out, I didn't have any case studies, I didn't have any unique skills, and I was saying the exact same thing to the exact same people to everyone, right? As everyone else. There's literally thousands of other people doing the exact same thing as me, meaning it was just super competitive. So when I first started my lead generation agency, I just had to make sure that this model, the lead generation agency business model, that it wasn't saturated. And that way, if it wasn't saturated, it would give me the best chance at success and actually making money. And luckily, what I realized was that every single business, they just needed new customers and needed new clients. I thought about my own marketing agency and I realized that if I had a lot of sales calls and if I had more leads, then I'd probably have more clients that might even pay me, right? So that was kind of the thought process that I had. And I realized that every single business owner probably thought the exact same thing, because every business needs new leads. Every business needs new sales calls if they take sales calls, which is, probably how most B2B companies actually sell their services, right? They book sales calls and sell their customers on that sales call. And what I realized was a company's most valuable asset is actually its customers, because without them, they're just out of business. And this makes sense because customers provide the cash flow needed for the business to continue growing and just staying afloat month to month. So regardless of the economy, regardless of worldwide events, every single business will still need more customers. And what I was doing was I was providing these businesses with exactly what they want. Meaning I was selling something that was actually in demand, right? I didn't need to convince people to buy something that they just didn't really need, because what I was selling was I was selling a need. I was selling a need, something that these businesses need, rather than selling a nice to have. So for example, an example of a nice to have service might be graphic design, or might be video editing. Because if you're watching this video and you sell video editing, right? No diss, but essentially it's a nice to have, because if you think about it, businesses won't make more money just because they have fancy editing or really good video like production. They're not gonna make more money. It might increase the brand presence or how the brand is perceived, but it's not directly correlated towards making more money because it's a nice to have service. But if I was helping companies get more customers and get more leads, that is a need to have, because I was directly helping them make more money. And again, right, because I was selling a need, I knew that I'd be able to sell my services for thousands of dollars. And here is actually a screenshot of my Stripe of how much I'm selling my services for, right? As you can see, I'm selling it for thousands of dollars, because the way I was selling it, the way I thought about it was, since I was selling to business owners, I wasn't selling on emotions. I wasn't being like a car salesperson, selling it with high pressure, snake oiled salesman tactics. I was just presenting a simple return. I was approaching these business owners, and essentially all I had to do was prove that if they paid me $2,000, they would make more than $2,000. If they paid me $3,000, I would help them make more than $3,000. And that wasn't even that hard, because the services that they'll be selling would be for $5,000, $10,000, even $50,000. So if I was even able to help them get a single customer, they'll be making $50,000. Right? So that's exactly how I was presenting my services. All I needed to do was present a tangible ROI, a tangible return on their investment. So what I also realized was, because I was selling to B2B businesses, so meaning they sell their services to other businesses. So I wasn't working with realtors, I wasn't working with plumbers, I wasn't working with B2C companies where they sell their services to regular everyday people. I was working with businesses who sell their services to other businesses. I realized that there are literally millions of them, right? So I found this on Google. You could go and search this yourself. And it says that there are more than 3 million B2B businesses in the US alone, right? And that's just in the US. So obviously I'm in Canada. So if we were able to expand that list to Canada, to UK, to Australia, to New Zealand, to every other English speaking country, there would literally be 10 times more of these B2B companies. So I remember thinking to myself, let's just say that the biggest lead generation agencies in the space, the guys right at the top, let's say they worked with 100 clients in total. Even if they worked with 100 clients, that's not even 0.0001% of total market share. And after I figured this out, after I sat there and I remember just pulling up my calculator and seeing the 0.0001 number, I realized that this business model would just never saturate because there's just so many of these companies that I could sell to, and every single one of these companies just needed new customers and needed new leads. And I just realized that saturation was just not an issue for the lead generation agency business model. So fast forward a little bit, I realized that, the lead generation agency business model just had a lot of potential, right? It wasn't saturated. I was selling a service that was actually needed, all of this stuff. But the problem was I didn't know who to sell the service to, because yes, on one hand, I could technically sell cold email lead generation to every B2B company under the sun. I could have done that because every company just needed my help. But I realized, and this was a quote that I don't even know where I found this, but this was a quote that I just remember and sticking to. And it says, "The riches are in the niches. Why appealing to everybody means you're really appealing to nobody." So essentially what that meant was I could have sold my services to everyone, but if I did that, it just wouldn't have worked because it wouldn't have been relevant. I was appealing to everyone, meaning I was appealing to nobody. And I remember being really caught up and really spending a couple weeks just thinking about what is the best niche I was going to sell to. I remember just spending weeks trying to think of the perfect niche. And looking back at that time, I think that was a massive mistake because I just wasted a bunch of time. I killed several weeks where if I just made a decision, spent a couple hours doing it max, I would have saved myself 2-3 weeks. Because since lead generation is, again, right, since it's a need for pretty much every business, all I really needed to do was just pick one niche and just move on, right? I could have just closed my eyes or asked Google or asked ChatGPT and picked a random one, did my research, and just move on. And I didn't realize because, I guess back then, I just didn't realize that I could have just searched it on Google, but I literally could have just searched on Google the best B2B niches to sell cold emails to, or ask ChatGPT that. And that's exactly what I did over here. This is a screenshot where I just asked ChatGPT to give me a list of B2B niches where I could sell outbound prospecting services or sell cold email services. And there are 15 over here. And I could have just blindly picked one of these 15 and just approached those companies. So for me, the first niche I chose was recruitment agencies. And how I was able to come up with that was, I remember I was at the gym, I was doing like a back exercise, I was working out my back, and I remember thinking to myself, because at that time it was 2022, I was in the last year of university. All my friends, everyone I knew pretty much that were in my age group was also in university, and all of them were all starting to graduate and looking for new jobs. So when I was thinking about that, because of my life situation, recruitment agencies just came to mind because everyone I knew was just actively looking for employment and looking for their first job of university. So a caveat here is don't just pick a random niche and call it a day, right? Because what you need to be doing is you need to be doing research, right? Or you don't want to just decide to sell to recruitment agencies because I did and I saw success. Right? What you need to do is you need to make sure that you're doing research into that niche and to fully understand the industry inside and out. And it isn't even that hard. It doesn't even take that much time to conduct all of this research. But I remember what I was doing was I was doing research. I was using YouTube. I was going inside Facebook groups. I was using Google, reading just a bunch of articles, going on Reddit forums, all of these different things to really understand the industry trends of recruitment agencies. I was trying to understand how micro and the macro economy, how that impacts demand for recruitment, because obviously for recruitment, it was very cyclical in terms of demand, because obviously when the economy is red hot, a lot of companies are hiring, and when the economy isn't doing as great, a lot of companies are not only not hiring, but they're actually laying off people. So I really wanted to understand how that might impact recruitment agencies. I was trying to research on how to get paid, how much they get paid, their typical sales process, and the common pain points and problems that they might have. So I was doing all of this research, and I remember spending a day or two doing this. I was on YouTube, I was going into Facebook groups, I was doing all of that stuff. And these were all things that I just had to nail down, because if I didn't do my research on these topics, then I wouldn't have been able to effectively help these recruitment agencies. Because even if I was able to get onto sales calls, I'd be asking them just really general and really generic questions that wouldn't really have moved the needle. And this is kind of exactly why copying someone else's niche just might not work for you. Because I remember when I was building my agency, before I picked recruitment agencies, I was really tempted to just copy someone else's niche, because I would go on my Twitter, I would just, some of these other people, I would just see them having success selling to marketing agencies or selling to SaaS companies. And I was really tempted to just blindly follow into that niche, because my logic was, if this person was making $20,000 a month selling to marketing agencies, then I could probably do the exact same thing, right? And that's exactly my thought process as well. But again, the biggest flaw with that, looking back at that line of thinking, was it was just really lazy, and I just wasn't doing the research. Understand that there are just so many niches, right? We literally looked at those 15 from ChatGPT, that realistically, you only need one of those niches for you that you enjoy working with, and you'll be set. So my advice is to spend 5 minutes just brainstorming different industries, spending a few hours, maybe an hour or two, just doing some research and going into it, because that's exactly what I did, right? After I spent and wasted 2-3 weeks coming up with the initial industry. So that's exactly what I did. After that, so now that I picked my niche and I decided that I was going to sell cold emails to recruitment agencies, my next focus was generating traffic and attention onto my business. Because the way I thought about it was, if I somehow hypothetically got 1 billion people to know about who I am, about what I sell, then I would make some serious cash, right? There are 8 billion people on planet Earth. If all 8 billion people knew who I was, I would be rich, right? And that was my line of thinking, and I was absolutely right. Because the biggest reason why businesses fail is because no one knows who they are. No one knows what they sell, and they simply, for a lack of better words, they just don't have enough attention and enough eyeballs onto their business. It's just that simple. No one knows who they are. So the channel I was going to use to generate traffic and generate attention was cold emails. Because the way I thought about it as well was, on top of the fact that I was already doing that, using cold emails to sign clients and generate sales calls for my own email marketing agency, was there wasn't really other channels where I'd be able to reach thousands of people every single day for a relatively low cost without me needing to spend hours of my day being involved in the process. Because, for example, I could have used ads, right? If you see ads on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook, ads work really well, because you're able to get in front of thousands, maybe even millions of people, but it will cost you a fortune, because what you need to be doing is you're trading your money for eyeballs. That's what ads is. So that was out of the picture, because I was in debt and I didn't have thousands of dollars to run into ads. The other thing I thought of was, why don't I just cold call? I watched Wolf of Wall Street. I remember in Wolf of Wall Street, the number one way all those guys made money was by picking up the phone and just cold calling random people. But I realized that cold calling just takes way too much time, because it'll literally take me 30 seconds to talk to a single person. And that 30 seconds doesn't sound that much. But if you run the math, every single hour, right? 60 minutes, and let's say you're cold calling and chatting with 2 people per minute, you're only talking to, let's say, 100 people. And that is not really that much if you think about it. And on top of that, you kind of get tired. So meaning you wouldn't even be able to work a full 8 hours just picking up the phone and dialing every single day. You burn out and all these different things. And to be honest, I just didn't really want to cold call, because I just didn't know how to, and I wasn't really that interested in learning how to do it. So cold calling was out of the picture. And then the next thing I thought of was, why don't I just send DMs on Instagram or on LinkedIn, where I just randomly message people? But then I realized I didn't want to spend 5 or 6 hours every single day just messaging people and finding all these guys, all the profiles, and just shooting them messages. I just didn't want to do that. So then I realized that I wanted to get in front of thousands of people, and cold emails was able to do that. I wanted to be able to do this without spending 5 or 6 hours every single day. And I realized because of like the automation softwares and just the way that cold emails is, I'd be able to do that without spending more than 30 minutes to an hour every single day. So I knew that cold emails was the way, right? And the way I thought about it was a saying that I really like is volume negates luck. Because obviously, again, if I was able to get in front of 1 billion people, then I would just make it rain, right? But again, a caveat is that's not to say that you just want to be spamming 1 million people, because that is not going to get you any results. If you just email 1 million people saying something random, it's not going to work. What I needed to do was I needed to put together cold emails that were strategic and directly to the decision makers, right? So I need to focus on saying the right things, explaining my offer in a very clear and direct way, making sure that my messaging was relevant to the recruitment agencies I was reaching out to, and ensuring that my emails were actually delivering and not landing in the junk folder. So these are the things that I needed to keep in mind as I was combining it with just volume, right? So I wasn't just spamming 1 million people hoping for the best, right? And here's some screenshots of that I was able to find when I was doing this process, right? So I remember emailing 11,000 people, and I remember, this was Snapchat, and I remember sending this to my friends, and I said, imagine cold calling 11,000 people trying to sell them a $3,000 product or $3,000 service, because obviously cold calling, it's just not happening. You're not cold calling 11,000 people without spending hours doing this. And then I remember just setting up some email accounts during the World Cup game. So I think this was the World Cup finals, and I had the World Cup game open, and I was setting up some email accounts. I remember that day really, really well. And then I remember this was a screenshot of a campaign that I sent, and I was actually able to get 100% open rates and 16% reply rates across 28,000 emails that I was sending. And this was just really crazy statistics, because you could go and search it up, and the average open rate for emails is, I think it's like 30% open rates, which is a third of it. So my point being was, I was learning how to send cold emails. I was becoming really good at it because I wasn't just spamming random people and sending 28,000 emails to random strangers saying something random. I was very strategic with how I was doing it, and that's exactly how I got results. Because one of the biggest things that I realized as I was sending cold emails was that I couldn't just send emails telling business owners that I could get them more sales calls, that I could get them more clients, that I could help them get more leads, and expect to make thousands of dollars. Because I remember reading somewhere that according to the General Social Survey, it's one of the largest running surveys of social, cultural, and political indicators in the US. So this is a survey that's been running for literally decades. And I remember reading that person-to-person trust was at the lowest point in the last 40 years, right? So here's a chart that I pulled. We can see over here, right? That trust is literally at the lowest since 1960s or mid 1960s, right? So what that meant was people just don't trust each other. People weren't willing to just spend thousands of dollars and send that to a random person on the internet who just randomly pitched them over email, telling them that to help them get a very specific result. So I hypothesized a way that I'd be able to get these business owners to, number one, understand the problem that I would help them solve, and to then believe in my process. Because obviously when I was first starting out, I didn't have any case studies, I didn't have any testimonials, and essentially what I was doing was I was just approaching these business owners, and I was like, hey, I can help you get this result, just trust me. I have no proof that this works, I have never done this for anyone else, but just trust me and send me a few $1,000s and I will make it happen for you. That's essentially what I was doing. And I realized that wasn't gonna cut it. It wasn't going to work, especially knowing that person-to-person trust is the lowest that it's ever been in the last few decades. So what I realized was maybe I could leverage something called a video sales letter. So what is a video sales letter? What is a VSL for short? Well, a video sales letter is a video that pitches your product and pitches your service to a prospect. So again, right? I didn't invent VSLs. I didn't invent video sales letters. The way that I was able to come up with this idea was, if you're ever just scrolling on your Instagram or scrolling and watching YouTube videos, and you come across an ad, and the person in the ad tells you to click on a free training at the end of the video. Well, that free training is actually a video sales letter because it's strategically designed to sell you something. And I figured that if I was able to replicate that process and I was somehow able to integrate a VSL, a video sales letter, into my cold email process, then I would be able to explain to business owners how I can help them. And what my process is I would showcase my expertise to the people I was emailing. So essentially, my goal was proving to them that I wasn't just an internet scammer. I wasn't just another dude who was out to get the money and run away with the money, right? And I was like, all right, if I was able to explain my service and essentially soft sell my service using a video before the actual sales call, then I would increase a lot of trust. I would build some expertise, and people, business owners, might be willing to, pay me so that I could help them generate more leads. And this process, it didn't just work, but it worked extremely, extremely well. So here's some screenshots that I found from my photo gallery. As you can see, November 3rd, 2022, December 6th, 2022, right? I was getting sales calls. I got a 9 a.m. sales call on November 3rd, 2022. December 6th, I was able to generate 11 sales calls within a 4-day period, right? And I was like, thousands to be made, because obviously if I was talking to a lot of people, selling my service to a bunch of people, obviously my likelihood of closing deals would be relatively high, right? So this process of using a video sales letter before the actual sales call was extremely effective because it got me a lot of interest and a lot of people wanted me to sell them, essentially, right? So my calendar was packed with sales calls from business owners looking to generate more leads and get more sales calls and work with more clients. And the best part about this was I was proving that the cold email system I had built for myself was working. It's the ultimate proof of concept, because what I'd be able to do was I would jump on these sales calls with business owners, and essentially I'd say, hey, look, we're on this sales call because I sent you a cold email. So if you really think about it, this process works, because if it didn't work, we wouldn't even be chatting right now on the sales call, right? And I would pull up my calendar and they would see that I'd be getting like 10 sales calls, 11 sales calls within a 3 or 4 day period, and be like, hey, look, so this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm using cold emails, reaching out to these business owners, pitching my services. I was getting all of these sales calls, and that's exactly what I'd be doing for you and your business as well. And again, right, it was the ultimate proof of concept because I was using the exact same process that worked for me and worked for my own business, and I was implementing it into other businesses as well. So on December 1st, 2022, I signed my first client, and he ran a recruitment agency and he paid me $3,000, right? So again, right, December 1st, 2022, 4:38 p.m. This is a screenshot of my Stripe that says, congratulations, Burrow Group. We just received your first payment through Stripe of $3,000. And I captioned it as made $3,000 in a 40-minute call. And my mind was just blown because I haven't made that much money the way I did it, right? The only way previously I was making money was I was flipping burgers at McDonald's for $14 an hour, right? So the business wanted what I had to sell. All the businesses wanted what I sell, the recruitment agencies and all of those people. And I was able to actually hit my first $10,000 month later that month. So I signed my first client on December 1st, 2022. By the end of December, I was at 10.5K, right? So here's a screenshot. I made 10.5K in December. Here is a GIF that I pulled from my Stripe that said, I started my business, let's assume October 1st. I don't think it was October 1st. It was like October 7th or something like that. But October 2022 to December 31st, December 2022. And as you can see, I made $0 October, November, and in December, I made 10.5K, $10,502.70 to be specific. So in basically 60 days, in basically 2 months, I hit $10,000 a month with my own lead generation agency, right? Again, right, businesses just wanted what I had so much that I was able to just get to $10,000 a month because I wasn't doing anything too crazy. I wasn't special. People just wanted what I had to sell, right? That it was literally that simple. So fast forward a little bit. After I hit my first $10,000 month, I kind of just knew that I was onto something big because you don't just go from $0 to $10,000 per month in 2 months without you being in a really effective vehicle, right? Before, when I was running my marketing agency, when I was doing my dropshipping store, not only did I just not know what I was doing and I didn't have the skills, but the vehicle just wasn't as good because there was just so many people doing it, and I was selling nice to have services as opposed to services that people actually needed. So after I hit my first 10K month, I knew I was onto something big. I was determined to not only hit that mark again, the $10,000 a month mark again, but I wanted to scale my business and just make even more money and get more sales, make more revenue, and deliver a greater impact for all these other businesses. But I also knew that in order for me to do that, I needed to actually deliver results for my clients and replicate the success that I was seeing with my own business and booking sales calls into my clients' business. Because obviously I wasn't scamming people. These guys, these business owners were paying me thousands of dollars. I needed to help them get a return on their money. Now, the good news was because I was using what was already working for myself, which obviously was cold emails, I didn't need to go out and learn a bunch of other skills or reinvent the wheel. I just needed to take what was working, make some slight adjustments to the messaging, to the email list, to the offer, to all of those things, and do the exact same thing and just send all of these cold emails. And that's exactly what I did. So this was actually the first client that you saw earlier who paid me $3,000 on December 1st, and you could pause this video and read through the messaging, but he said, I wanted to give you an update on my current situation. This was January 20th. I fired my existing cold email agency. They were just not getting the results that I needed. And basically 2 weeks after that, on February 6th, he messaged me again and said, hey Jimmy, I hope you've enjoyed your weekend. We've signed VMware. And then after that, I think the day later, he sent me another message that said, hey, we signed Interlink Mortgage. So I was able to help him sign 2 clients basically within a month and a half of working together. And he runs a recruitment agency. And for recruitment agencies specifically, every client they sign, they literally make tens of thousands of dollars, $20,000 to $30,000 for every single client they sign. So he signed 2 clients, and just like that, him paying me $3,000, I was able to make him back $60,000. That's over 20 times ROI, 20 times return on his investment, right? And again, this was the first client that I signed back in December 1st, 2022. And even at my lead generation agency today, which has actually now been renamed to SalesWith.io. When it first started, it was called Burrow Group. Now it's called SalesWith.io. You could go and check that out. I've worked with over 50 plus clients now, helping them generate sales calls and leads for their businesses, right? Here are just some of the wins that I was able to find as I was putting this video together of some of the clients that I've been able to work with, making them more money by helping them get sales calls and generate clients and all of those things. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, because in the first 4 months of this year, in 2024, from January to May, I was able to make over $252,000 with my lead generation agency by simply sending these emails for business owners. And basically how I was able to do this was I've been hitting consistent $50,000 months at my business since December last year, since December 2023. So literally for like the last 5 months, I haven't dipped below $50,000 in revenue at my lead generation agency. Here you can see it's a stripe from January 1st to May 6th of this year. I collected $252,000 the month before this. So in April, I made $59,000 in a single month. But most importantly, the reason I was able to make this much money at my business was because I was helping my clients make 5 times more money, right? My clients are becoming rich way quicker than I am. And it's supposed to be that way because, again, we're not scamming people. We are giving a service to business owners. We're selling a service to business owners, and business owners want to see a ROI. They want to see a return on whatever that they're paying you. So business owners, as an example, they would pay me $3,000 because I could give them a return of $30,000, right? Similar to that client that I showed you earlier. He paid me $3,000. He made back $60,000, right? And again, I'm just a regular 23-year-old from Canada, right? I don't have any special skills. I don't have any of those things. A year and a half ago, I was thousands of dollars in credit card debt and I had failed 2 businesses. And the only difference now was I had built a lead generation agency for myself and I had mastered how to generate leads and sales calls, sales opportunities by using cold emails. So here's what's next. If you want to build your own lead generation agency, then go to the links in my description. I included a couple different links. The first link, I put together a 3-hour-long step-by-step free course where I show you how you can start your own lead generation agency as well. How you can start this exact same business model for yourself. I literally share everything I have learned over the last year and a half of growing my own lead generation agency from zero to $59,000 per month. And I literally share with you everything you need to know completely for free. So you could go and do all of that yourself. You could follow the video. As long as you take action, you will see some traction. And I know it works because I get tons of comments on my YouTube videos. You could probably go and find them yourself as well, of people just telling me how they're signing clients, how they made some money following the free YouTube videos that I put on YouTube, teaching people how to build their own lead generation agencies. However, you could go and do that yourself. It might take you some time, right? But if you want to work with me to build your own lead generation agency, and you want to work with me one-on-one to start and get your lead generation agency to $10,000 per month in the next 90 days, then I also included another link in the description below where we can set up a time to chat about how I can help you, right? It's not a course, it's a one-on-one consulting program, right? But I want you to start by watching that free course that I put together first and take action and give it a go. But that's what I wanted to share with you in today's video. Hope you found this video valuable. Hope you liked it. If you do, make sure you drop me a like. Make sure you drop me a subscribe. Make sure you drop any comments if you have any questions or feedback or comments or anything else that you want to share with me. And I'll see you in the next video. See ya.